They say that a dog is man's best friend, but there's some new research that shows the bond might be even deeper than we think for pretty much everyone, from emotional support to improving how we connect with others. Our relationship with our dogs are reshaping what it means to love and communicate. Joining us this morning, expert on the topic here to explain more about this relationship connection, we've got Dr. Eileen Pallas.
Good morning, Brianna.
This is an interesting one because we've always known the thought behind, having a pet. It can be emotional support. It's a way to get people active. But this research is really digging deeper, saying that you might have a better relationship with your dog than your family members,
It's a new
your
way
friends?
of thinking. Yes, dog guardians actually report that they have more satisfying relationships with their dogs than they do with any of their human relationships. That includes their romantic partners, their family members, their best friends, and even many of their children. That they not only rival their human relationships, but dogs surpass the quality of their human relationships.
Interesting. And when you make that note too about having that better relationship, maybe even more than their children, that's kind of part of the dynamic too, because it's providing both the parent-child and best friend relationship.
Right. We know that there's a lot of changes we've talked about on this show, that the Generation Z is having less sex, that we have a decrease in the birth rate, that we also have changes in sort of the style of our social relationships and our romantic partners. They're really changing traditional methods of doing this. And along with this, the dogs are actually fulfilling that lack of the void that we have developed in both our social and romantic relationships, and they are becoming the primary surrogate children, actually, and the primary friendships. And I want to throw in one other thing, and that it's really important to know that this is not just theoretical stuff I'm talking about. There is huge movement in research to be looking at dog cognition everywhere from the Arizona state all the way to Budapest. So I want you to know this is all based on real data and hard work done at universities, scientific research.
Okay, yeah, and it's not just one area. We're talking about just in general. So talk a little bit about the strong emotional bond, the social intelligence, like all of these elements that go into creating that really deep connection.
Yeah, there's many findings they have from these universities, but some of the findings they have, the dogs have strong emotional attachments. So they do this with not just humans. They do this as something that they have evolved over time, that they're doing across different species. So that gives them some really unique qualities. They also have a highly sophisticated emotional attachments and intellect. So they have like an emotional intellect. We talk about our general intelligence in humans. Dogs have emotional intelligence, and they found that even when they're looking at humans' gestures, humans' facial expressions, that they're better than primates at recognizing these things. They're more sophisticated.
Interesting. Yeah, I would say some people struggle with their emotional intelligence.
They do.
So you might have it less than a dog.
They also really value the person, a human, in the studies that they did. Of course, they had to set these up as experiments. The people that were more cooperative, the dog would prefer. So like they have you and I sit across and you're trying to reach for a tablet, and one person will come up and push it to you, and the next person will come up and pull it away from you. The dog will automatically prefer the person who's more cooperative. So they prefer in the group, they will turn toward and bond with the person who's more cooperative to help out the group.
Okay. And how does it improve humans' relationship skills and having these more fulfilling relationships?
That was one of the most interesting things. If we always think about how do we train our dogs, actually there's some qualities that are just the opposite that
they're
we
training
really
us.
Well, hopefully, if we're lucky, they will. Because what they found is that the people who have strong dog relationships actually learn those qualities I'm talking about that dogs have. They become more compassionate, better communication skills, more nurturing, more empathetic. So we can learn, we will become better partners and have better social skills and relationships and better communicators and more nurturing by learning from our dogs.
Okay, and with 30 seconds left, I know you wanted to talk about how it sort of broadens our idea of attachment theory.
Yeah, psychologists have pretty traditional ideas that we have learned and are pretty traditionally accepted about how relationships develop. It's called attachment theory, and we look at anxious, avoidant kinds of models of insecure, secure attachment theories. But by watching dogs, we realize that our thoughts about attachment are very linear. dogs have a whole other dimension looking at this emotional quotient that they have and their ability to respond not just intellectually by, you know, how many miles between New York and Paris, but they're learning actually about how to relate, how to respond, how to pick up cues, how to communicate, how to be empathetic and nurturing. And then with any luck, as we develop, we're calling it a social, they're calling it a social provisions model, is a much broader contextual dynamic we make of how we develop relationships that dogs have that we don't. And I'm hoping that, you know, over time as we develop these models, that we as animals will learn how to relate better to our own environment and become more of the context of our world.
Well, we appreciate this. I'm sure all the dog lovers eating all this up this morning, and maybe someone who was considering
Some converts,
with
I hope.
emotional development here. You can always check out more of these similar topics on Eileen Peltz's website, which we've linked on our website, WWLTV.com. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Always
Anna.
great, interesting.